Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 27 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. So, something very interesting happened this week to the ladies of The View. Suddenly, context matters. Suddenly, appearing in the Epstein files doesn't mean guilt. Suddenly, reasonable people understand that millions and millions of pages, literal millions, are going to contain thousands of names. Some because they were mentioned in passing, some because they were talked about, some because of anonymous tips, some because of logistics, some because of tangential relationships, and some because of conversations that went nowhere. And what caused this miraculous outbreak of rationality? Whoopi Goldberg's name showing up in the files. That's what caused it. Now, I don't want any confusion, and I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. Okay? I'm not accusing her of anything. I have no idea. And that's exactly the point. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody on television knows. That's why we're supposed to wait and see. But what's fascinating to me is how quickly the tone changed. For years, we've been told that if your name popped up in those files, well, you know the whole thing about where there's smoke, there's fire, questions, implications, raised eyebrows, and the ominous music in the background. And of course, the favorite punching bag in that narrative was, and continues to be, President Donald J. Trump. Now, again, I want there to be no misunderstandings. I am not here to defend anyone blindly. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If anyone is genuinely implicated in crimes against children, I don't care who they are, what party they're in, how powerful they might be, they should be investigated thoroughly. And if credible evidence emerges, they should be prosecuted. And if they're guilty, throw the book at them. The fullest extent of the law, period. But here's what reasonable people noticed a long time ago. The Epstein files are massive, millions of pages over many years. Of course, names are going to appear. Of course, there are going to be rumors. Of course, there are going to be many anonymous accusations. Some of them beyond outrageous. Some of them demonstrably false from the get-go. And yes, some of them completely imagined and fabricated. That's how sprawling investigations work. So, my position has always been very simple. Wait and see. Evidence first, narrative later. But here's the uncomfortable question that nobody seems to want to address. During the Biden administration, they were aggressively pursuing President Donald J. Trump. Georgia, New York, federal cases, the Justice Department, they were trying everything. If you added up the potential maximum penalties across the board, it was, they say something like 700 years or more in prison? That's cartoonish territory. The goal was obvious. Stop him by any means necessary. Bankrupt him, convict him, prevent him from becoming president ever again. And of course, what they really wanted to do to accomplish all that was put him in prison for the rest of his life. So here's the logical question. If there were some Epstein silver bullet sitting in a file somewhere, something usable, something admissible, something credible, do you honestly believe they would have just not used it? Said, we've tried everything else, but this, no, we're going to leave this one alone. The idea that where there's smoke, there's fire, okay. But here's another idea. If someone is in your crosshairs and you don't fire the weapon, maybe it's because you don't actually have a weapon. That's not blind loyalty. That's basic strategic thinking. But suddenly, the ladies of The View understand nuance. Suddenly, context matters. Suddenly, we must be careful. And yes, suddenly, appearing in documents means nothing without evidence. Interesting how that works when it's on your own, huh? Again, I'm not accusing Whoopi of anything. I'm accusing the media of hypocrisy, of narrative convenience, of extremely selective skepticism. But here's the truth. Most of what we see right now is rumor, innuendo, anonymous tips, guilt by association. People are filling in the blanks with whatever suits their bias. And bias is extremely powerful. Bias will make you see patterns that aren't there. Bias will make you assume smoke when it's just fog. I want you to remember that one. Bias will make you assume smoke when it's just fog. Bias will make you convict people in your mind long before a single piece of admissible evidence ever surfaces. And that's dangerous. Because when it comes to crimes this serious, especially crimes involving children, the stakes are too high for these kind of games. So here's the reframe. As you know, a man that I greatly admired and who has inspired me is the late Scott Adams. And Scott Adams talked a lot about persuasion and cognitive traps. One of the biggest traps is confirmation bias, the tendency to accept information that supports what you already believe and reject information that doesn't. What we just witnessed is a live demonstration. When the name fits the villain in your story, oh, that's definitely smoke, which is going to lead to fire. When the name fits the hero in your story, oh, no, we need context now. That tells you something very important. Not about Epstein, not about Trump, not about Whoopi. It tells you how human brains work. The smarter move, the adult move, is to resist that reflex. Demand evidence consistently. Apply standards consistently. Protect due process consistently. Because if you only believe in wait and see when it protects your team, you don't actually believe in it. And that's the lesson. Consistency is credibility, and credibility is power. All right, that's enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. And as always, be useful.